Welcome back, guys. Got a little bit of a light workload this weekend. Thought I had a vehicle coming in for a buddy. Kind of fell through, but for better or worse, we have a bunch of work that I got to get done on my end, anyways. Tomorrow we should have more parts coming for the Mazda, so we're going to continue from the last video on that. Later tonight, we're actually heading over to Ethan's, who you met on the last video. He just picked up a new daily driver last weekend, actually. Today we're going to go over and I think put an exhaust on it for him. It's more so going to be for his channel, Good Gravy Garage. I'll link it down below. Before I do anything else to this truck today, I just need to get the engine to top dead center, start pulling the stuff off of the cam. Um, Realize I did not order a new cam retention plate. Not necessary, but we're in there. I do want to replace it because it does have somewhat of a gasket on it. There's a couple different styles. Ethan may actually have the one I need, but I'd hate to find out tomorrow. So I'm going to start on that a little bit here today. See if it is in fact the one that he has spare sitting over at his garage. If not, order one up so we can finish putting the cam and everything in tomorrow. Other than that, if I get a chance today, I'm probably going to start tearing out the interior in the Mazda. Jumping way ahead of myself, but it's something to do while waiting for other stuff to get here. The whole reason that's coming out, other than making the interior our own, is eventually we're going to be putting a transmission in this that wasn't meant to fit. Basically, what that's going to entail is cutting the trans tunnel off. I know any transmission I put in here is going to be bigger than what I took out. Even if it's not much bigger, it's going to be much easier to mock up and create mounts and everything for the transmission without the top of the tunnel on there. So hopefully I'll get a chance to get a start on that. It is only Friday right now. I got to jump on the weekend early this time. Hopefully we can get a bunch done between our work we have here and the work over at Ethan's house later tonight. So let's get to it. All right, so first thing we're going to do, pull the spark plug out of cylinder one. I'm not completely taking the cam out right now. Just want to get the gear and everything off. So I want to make sure we're top dead center. Put our cylinder. So put our finger over where the plug was in cylinder one. When it hits compression stroke, you probably hear it. It'll blow my finger out of the spark plug hole. Right there. On the dots up. So what we're lining up is this little dot right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see the one on the crank gear. There's a little dot. It's more of a triangle on the crank gear. So you want that lined up with the dot. That, along with compression on cylinder one, is going to make sure you're at top dead center, cylinder one. I'm going to toss our plug back in so nothing else gets in there. Show you guys why I was so concerned when I pulled this plug first. The electrode's all there. See how it looks like? It's hard to show on this camera. See how it looks like the top's kind of blown apart real far? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull another plug. Not to spend too much time pulling these right now and looking at all of them, but while we're here,
This one looks the same. Doesn't mean that it's right. .073. They're the same, .073. It's saying .060. .073 isn't far off from there, but that doesn't. Maybe there's old plugs and they got blown open like that. And who knows, maybe it wasn't running the best when it was pulled apart, but maybe it was still running. Maybe someone put plugs in and gapped them wrong. I don't know. Screw it while we're here. So we have 1 and 3 pulled. I'm just gonna pull a random one on the other cylinder head. Pull number 6. See what it looks like. Physically, it looks just as far open. We're at .07. I mean, they're all blown open pretty far. I probably shouldn't be too worried if they're all pretty consistently like that, I guess. Like I said, it doesn't make it right. I don't know. We'll just keep that in the back of our heads while we're doing the rest of this. So this right here is the plate that I needed to check out. It's going to come off when we go to pull the camshaft out tomorrow. But behind here is kind of like a little rubber sealer gasket. What I needed to find out was these bolts. You can see I removed one right there. There's 2 different styles. This one, the bolt sits flush on top of here. And some of the newer generation LS engines, or truck engines, whatever, 5.3, these are kind of countersunk. Ethan has a spare plate, but it's countersunk. So I wanted to check this out, so now I can, order the right one. Hopefully I can get it locally and have it for tomorrow so that we can continue with the cam swap on this. Well, this connector was kicking my ass for the seatbelt, the driver's side, and then realized the bottom of it's like glued or epoxy together. There's no way to take that apart, so we're just gonna cut these wires, solder them back later when we're putting everything back together. So at the end there, you saw me cutting the carpet out under the dash right here. This carpet's not being reused. Redoing it. Probably black carpet, at the very least, new gray carpet. I could, you know, clean all this up, shampoo it, pressure wash it, whatever, and put it back in. But it's the original carpet from the 90s. Well, from 90. So I'm not planning on reusing it. What I did do, though, is I just cut the bare minimum here to pull it out nice and quick. Right now, I'm not worried about putting new carpet in right away. And we still have a lot to take out, including the top of that trans tunnel. So eventually I'll get the rest of the carpet out. But what I'm going to do is hang on to this, roll it up, put it in the corner. That way when I get my new carpet, I can reuse these little retainers like this. Can know right where they go. I can kind of use this to guide and figure out what I'm going to do with the new carpet. Probably not even gonna, I mean, this is probably all going to be cut on the new carpet and then worked around the new tunnel, however that goes. But the nice thing about this is new carpet's generally oversized a few inches in every direction. So with this, I can kind of see where I've got to trim. I can pre-trim a little bit and save myself a lot of time and hassle with putting the new carpet in. So always helps to hang on to this until you know the new carpet's in and you're not going to use it. Looking at this, ignore the wiring for the sound system. I just did that really quick under the old carpeting to get something in there, but this rubber mat's going to come up. These wires are going to come out. I'm going to redo this. Don't know if we're going to have jump seats in the rear anymore. Maybe just finish it off nice and clean with a delete and put a sound system back there, a more concrete one, especially because that sub's not going to sit in the center anymore once that tunnel gets cut up. But once I remove these, later on you're going to see we have some repairing to do in the floors. These kick panels under here have some rust right above the body mounts, so that's going to be a whole nother episode later on. I'm going to pick up a welder and teach myself in front of you guys how to repair floor pans. So that's where we're at right now with this. All right, so we're headed over to Ethan's now. Just gonna knock out this exhaust on his new car. I think we're just doing a stainless catback on his Fiesta ST that he just picked up. I'm not sure, could be wrong, we'll see when I get there. He's also going to be filming this for his channel too, so out of courtesy, this is probably just going to be a time-lapse video of us doing the work on his car, but who knows, we'll see what happens.
Just hit this with that PP blaster. Oh, hey, what's up?
Right. I'll leave you in your PP blaster alone. So yesterday, after waiting all day, camera tension plate finally came in. Um, but they sent the wrong hardware. So going back to earlier, this is the plate that I was replacing since we're in there. It does have a gasket on the back, which is why I wanted to replace it. Going back to the two different styles, they sent me the style with the countersunk holes, regular hardware. It does fit, but what I don't like is all that movement. Nothing's really going to center it. So this morning I had to run out and just get my own hardware. So now we have the countersunk bolts. So now if you see this go in, it sits nice and flush, and as you tighten it, it actually centers the plate on the hole. So I'm going to put this in. You might have realized I did not put any oil or assembly lube or anything on the push rods when they went in. Gonna pop those back out, put assembly lube on both ends, especially because the engine's gonna be sitting for a while before we actually fire it up, which is fine. The rockers are just hand tightened down for the most part. Once all that's on, I can put the chain back on, timing chain on, and then I will be cranking the engine over to get all the lifters where they need to be for me to tighten down the rockers. So just a little bit more work. Wasn't supposed to take 2 days to do this, but when you're waiting for parts and then the wrong parts come anyways, whatever. So a little bit of a hang up here. I just finished torquing the rockers. Went to turn the engine over so I could throw some oil on the timing chain. And I'm getting this kind of like a buckling noise from this side of the chain here, and you'll see it kind of jumps when I turn this over. If I go faster, it's a little more noticeable. So just trying to do some digging on this and make sure that that's normal. Well, I said it myself. The engine wasn't going to get started and finished in one video. I don't remember how much I recorded, so it might cut off pretty suddenly with the assembly footage. Basically found noise I didn't like coming from the timing set. I never tried turning the engine over before we started disassembling it, so for all I know, it could have made the noise the whole time. What's going to happen is I'm just going to spend the whole $50 on a timing set. That's going to be here next weekend. And from there, I'm going to kind of take apart everything we've done already. Basically, I have to pull the oil pan so that I can take the oil pump back off and install the timing set. while I'm in there, probably just going to shim the oil pump, make sure that's all good. Just triple check everything. The noise I'm hearing could even be normal. It's hard to say. I just don't want to find out that it's not once the engine's already in the truck. More importantly, this is going to be my wife's daily for the most part, pretty much any day that there's no snow on the ground. So I'm not going to just throw it in there and send it. If it was one of my cars, I would just put it in, and if it broke, it broke, and I'd come back later and fix it. But with that being said, we're going to end the video here. Obviously, you're going to see a part 3 come up. Maybe as soon as next week. Part should be here next week, and I keep going on it. But keep checking in. Obviously, hit subscribe. You'll see the videos as soon as they come out. As always, comment if you've got anything, any input or suggestions or anything like that. And we'll pick this up next time. Thanks.